it gives me chills.
You know Lee's coming.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Blair Cawthon. I'm the costume designer on The Lowdown.
And I'm Ethan Hawke, and I'm getting a costume put on.
We had someone custom make the snakeskin hat band here and then add rattlesnake and aged it up, you know. The funny thing about this hat on the pilot was that Stetson, it's a Stetson open road, and Stetson at the time was not producing this. I, through like a series of people, got a connect at Stetson, called them, and they stopped like production to make us some of these hats.
Which is so awesome.
In this color, because that's the one we wanted. Ooh, it gives me chills.
You know Lee's coming. Something about it with the van communicates exactly who he is.
And it's nice because we've gotten to show him wearing it in flashbacks from 10 years ago. So it's definitely something he's had forever.
Forever, and is always going to wear. I'm kind of like Indiana Jones. I go through all hell, but I never lose my hat.
Never, right. I'll watch you in a scene and
Yeah,
I've
always got it. Or if I know I'm going to get really beat up, I accidentally leave it in the car.
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
There's two things that make an actor's life really easy or really hard. Production design and costume design. When you are wearing something that activates a different part of yourself, everybody knows that. Like, you go in a certain part and you wear this outfit, all of a sudden it changes your mood. So when you have the right costume, it just activates the part of yourself that is that character. If the set is real and the costume is real, then it's hard to act badly because you feel fake the second you do. The wrong hat can ruin a fucking scene, excuse my French. You do a couple movies and you start to notice, like, why doesn't that scene work? And like, because she's wearing a red hat. And all we're thinking about is that red hat.
And I feel like your hat doesn't like distract.
Even
sense.
That's why we like it so much when Frances starts wearing the hat, because she's carrying her father. Like, it's so tied to who he is. And we all know that. We all recognize our father from 200 yards across the field by their stride and what they wear and what they would never wear. Yeah, their silhouette. Yeah. Even if you haven't seen that outfit, you recognize it because that's the kind of clothes they wear. I definitely steal a handful of things from you, but usually things that that didn't make the cut.
Yeah,
that's what I usually get to pinch.
Well, and we have a million multiples of a lot of these things now. So
what I really want is this, but it's actually Sterling's.
It is Sterling's.
Yeah, this is
like a few weeks ago, he came up to me on set and was like, "This is what Ethan's wearing in 106." Okay, we got it. Ethan found this incredible, what we think is hand embroidered.
I wanted him a little homage to The Outsiders.
Yes.
And so, so I brought this in, and I got full approval from my designer.
Absolutely. And the Do It For Johnny was.
The Do It For Johnny, yeah. Those are my two outsider. This is my homage to Matt Dillon.
Yes.
Do It For Johnny. I mean, we just saw eye to eye on this.
We did. I think Lee's look is like the epitome of Tulsa. A little dirty, a little grungy, a little Western, vintage inspired. Obviously, we have to have multiples of everything, so we have to make the things look vintage.
It's totally inspired by the people we see walking around.
Yeah.
Like people, I mean, you know, there's so much of Sterling in my character. There's so much of Tulsa in my character that it was pretty easy to know what he looked like.
Yeah.
I felt this is one of my favorites.
I know. This is one of my favorites, too. And this was actually a request by Ethan on the pilot. Like, to do some cool Hoot Owl book shirt, and we didn't have enough turnaround time on the pilot, so for his first fitting for the season. The show's inspired by just the 70s in general, it being like a neo-noir, so we were like, you know, what's more kind of trashy 70s than a polyester Wrangler?
These are my action slacks.
Yes.
Yeah, my Wrangler action slacks.
That's my favorite thing that came from the pilot, from the fitting. Remember, like, Sterling was pushing back and being like, I think just jeans. And you and I were like, no. He has to wear the
Saturday Night Fever all the way.
Has to.
Yeah.
And now they're iconic.
Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to watch The Lowdown.
Perfect.